Alright, this is gonna be part 10. I went ahead and did most of the stuff in here offline, because it's one of these annoying dungeons where after a certain amount of time, you'll just get cold and pass out, which is really annoying. Plus, there's almost no dialogue in here. When you touch the hot spring, basically you're like, oh, I get it. A hot spring. When you wander into Snow's cave to get the Alexander materia, the lady's like, I can't believe you touched me with the same hands that you put in the hot spring. Then she fights you. When you pass out, Holmhulls basically just says he knows a guy that, like, crossed the mountain before. He tells you how to keep yourself warm when you're climbing up these freezing cold cliffs. He'll ask you if you want to stay the night, basically. But, I mean, he doesn't have anything, like, story-related really to say. I mean, it's not like he's helping predicate the fact that Sephiroth is going over here. We already knew that from, like, the post, what is it called? It was, like, the Tower of Ancients or something, or the Pyramid of Ancients, I don't recall. So basically, like, no exposition really happens in this part, other than just random fights and blah blah blah. But yeah, the only thing I did offline was, like I said, I just got the items, because I didn't want to run through this place 3 times on a stream. You know, it's kind of boring to just watch somebody, like, run around, get lost, fall down for, like, an hour. Plus, it kind of gave me, like, a nice opportunity to go ahead and get Sid some limits that are actually useful. So, yeah, that's about it. That'll catch you up all the way through where we were last time to where we are now, if you were watching then and now. Anywho, I am just moving forward. Let me see here. I think I go up. I don't recall. It honestly doesn't matter, because if I pass out, I go to the place I want to be anyway. So I'm just gonna, you know, either do that or get there. We'll see what happens. Look at him trying so hard. Oh boy. One nice side effect of the running around and leveling up was a couple of my green materia got mastered. So ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, we should be there rather shortly. To the next part. I'm pretty sure that guy, Helmhall, says nothing different than if I just go and talk with him, so I'll just talk with him and read his dialogue. That way you've got, like, the full idea of what he says, does, etc. Anyways, I guess his name's Holzhov. He says to successfully climb the cliff, you have to check your route often. You do that with the circle button. You must keep your body temperature normal. It's imperative that you remember that. To do that, you press square repeatedly. And he just says, you want to rest? I mean, he's useless. He's got nothing to say, really. Does he say anything else? No. Oh, he says, don't overdo it if I say no. Anyway. Oh, let me turn the volume up. The music's kind of lower than I normally have it. There we go. Alrighty. Here we go. Oh, jeez. What am I doing right now? I'm just having like brain problems today. Yeah, whatevs. I honestly don't think I've ever done this. I'm like passed out. Like, maybe I have. I don't recall though if I have. It's not really all that hard of a mini game. I mean, you just go. I bet you could probably even just walk straight up here if you didn't even warm yourself up. You'd probably be fine as long as you didn't dilly-dally too much. Anyway, I think there's like a hidden ribbon in this place somewhere, if memory serves correctly. I think it's like, yeah, something over there. Anyways, fighty time, I guess. Oh my. That blew bubbles on me. It's not very nice. I don't even have any healing materia equipped. There we go, we got our ribbon. Oh. That frame skipper is making the music sound stupid, so I'm gonna turn that off for now. Let's see. We got a new weapon for Mr. Sid. Oh, nice. I might as well. Let's see. Just put a restore on him. Just that way I can get through this place. Especially if that guy blowing bubbles on me is gonna hit me for 2k per party member. Anywho, not that it matters. They're dead anyway. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I think in one of my earlier videos, I erroneously assumed that all the limit breaks were based on like number of damage or number of healing done, but it's actually just based on the number of enemies that that specific character has killed themselves. So like if you don't land the death blow, then it doesn't count essentially. This game looks freaking bad ass with these visual mods on there. It's trying so hard. There it goes. I guess I go back. You're a dirty little boy. Oh, I just counter killed him anyway. I didn't even know Sid had a counter materia on. I thought it was on Cloud. That's confusing to me. Yeah, he doesn't even have that materia. I don't know how he did that. Whatever. Oh boy. I love it when I walk like 5 steps and I just get into another attack. It's kind of lame. Is he just gonna attack the same fucker over and over again? Lame. I hate these enemies that have these really long animations for their attacks. It just drives me bonkers. Especially like when I'm doing this up rendering stuff, like oof. It looked like there was like another door I could go in. Maybe I can climb up that. I must just have to go back down or something. Oh boy. I'm just not super in the mood to fight stuff right now because I did a little leveling up earlier, like I said. Holy hell. Pardon me if I sound like I'm dying. I didn't do much sleeping today. I think I went to bed at like 10 in the morning. I woke up at like 3. And I did not sleep that whole period of time. Like, I just kept waking up. Oh god, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. Nobody likes you. Anywho, if this is your first time watching, it's a patched translation on the ISO of Final Fantasy VII Disc 123 that you could, well, I mean, I rip them right from my original source material, because I think they work nicer that way. Like, when I've downloaded stuff in the past, like, they just have issues. I think it's because people, like, compress them, and then you uncompress them, and little beeps, bops, and boops, and bytes get kind of, like, lost in translation, I think, in the internet sometimes. Let's go right, I guess. Guess there's no point in doing that. Whatever. Such is life. Life is such. But I'm kind of glad I didn't really do too much oversleeping today, since I had today off. Just because I want to, like, get my schedule back on, like, a normal people's schedule. I think the issue is I just wake up so early on days that I work that, like, sometimes I get wiped, I take a nap, and then it's like, oh crap, now my sleep schedule is totally jacked up. Yeah, I've been in weather this cold. I don't think you can just, like, run in place to magically, like, prevent hypothermia. Like, if it's that cold and windy, and if it's wet, you're just gonna die. Or get gangrene. Oh, just, jeez. Jeezy Pete's. Anywho. Looks like there's 2 ways I can go up. But one is a dead end. I don't know why they even bother with this madness. We are going up a mountain, apparently. We don't have any, like, mountain climbing equipment. We're not wearing a coat. We're just gonna climb a mountain like this. Heck, and, like, Tales of Destiny 2, when you go to a cold place, it's also known as Tales of Eternia in Japan. Like, the first thing you do when you walk into a town is you get a new outfit with, like, warm freaking clothes when you climb up the freezing ass mountain. It's like, it's the little things. Like, I think the Tales series as a whole often pays so much more attention to itself than Final Fantasy does. Like, if you've been watching this whole series I've been doing, like, I've been pointing out a lot of, like, logical fallacies that are just all over this game. Doesn't mean I don't like the game. It's probably my favorite game of all time, but it's still like, come on, man. Get it together. Get it together. You can do it. Anywho, I think I need to go up here and, like, literally fight icicles. It's a little ridiculous. To get them to fall so I can go pick up treasures and all kinds of good stuff, really. I keep forgetting to hold the escape button. Can you not? Little penguins slapping me with their fins. I don't care how dangerous penguins are, like, their little fin slaps are not gonna, like, literally kill anybody. That's, like, another thing that kind of gives me a headache when I play certain games. I'm like, there's, like, literally a bunny in this game that's just, like, trying to kill you with a carrot. I'm like, that is some janky stuff right there. Like, it's hilarious. Like, I like the slapstick and, like, the crazy comedy that comes along with Final Fantasy VII. But I feel like this game has so many, like, moments that are just drama. And the dumb stuff, like the cute, funny little stuff here and there, while it helps, like, with breaking up some stuff, it doesn't have much place across, like, certain areas. Let's see. What are all these things? None. That's no good. Yeah, nothing interesting there. What the heck was I gonna do? I was going to do something. Oh, it can't be that important. Anyways. Oh yeah, I was gonna use stimulants on my party, aka hypers. We got Alexander, we got... Let's use maybe... Bahamut sounds fun. I don't think it makes sense to use Odin. I don't know that holy magic will particularly harm an ice cube, but... You know, I don't really have, like... any holy water on me. I mean, I don't know. Ice melts faster when it's in the presence of water that's warmer than it, so... It's... I don't know. It's whatever. Did that ice cube drop ice cubes on me? Oh, man. That is some shit right there. I'm really glad that in my real life I haven't walked into any sentient icicles that are, like, literally trying to kill me. It's just too much for me, man. Like, I think that would be so trippy, I would lose my fucking mind. No. Oh, yeah. Let's do this before I forget for the 8th time. Let me check his materia, too. I'm not sure if something like... Nah, it just leveled up. I just try to make sure that I don't keep mastered materia in my slots. It's like throwing AP in the toilet. Oh, God. Why are there bats in here? I don't know what's going on, man. Let's use Wow, I can't talk. Alexander. I want to see if it hurts this. I just noticed the ice cube was, like, healed. I'm curious if, like, because the ice cube is in a cold area, that just the ambient air is, like, healing the ice cube. Oh, man. That is some crazy logic right there. Sorry, bats. You're definitely dead. Goodbye, ice cube. It's kind of crazy because I moved to Phoenix in 2016. I'm pretty sure I've been here a good 4 years. I think I moved here like it was like late December or early January. of 2015 or 2016. So yeah, it's been a good 4 years. And in the 4 years I've lived here, I have seen snow one time. And it was because I went on a camping / road trip all the way up the coast. So we drove basically from like Phoenix to LA, and then we went from LA basically all the way up to what's this place called? Shelter Cove. It's like just south of Eureka, California, where like Lost Coast Brewery is. And then we drove all the way back, but like through the mountains and the desert, and so we ended up getting this pretty cool insulated tent, and we actually camped whether it was rain or snow or sun. We camped on a beach. We camped in some mountains. We camped in some snow. We camped in valleys. Like, we camped everywhere. It was a 10-day trip. So, you know, that's 10 days of pitching a tent, dropping a tent, pulling out a cooler, putting together chairs, taking apart chairs, etc. So it was like so busy, I think, of a trip that like it like flew by. But there was one night where it got super cold. I mean, we were literally like, we pitched our cans on top of some snow. Like, we tried to shovel as much of it away as we could, but the ground was basically frozen, so you can't really like you know, take a flamethrower to the ground, unless I guess you have one of those. But it's just amazing how well that insulated tent worked. I mean, basically we had like a normal tent, and then inside our tent we had this airframe. It's basically like a 360-degree like quilt, but in the shape of like a tent. And then inside the tent we had an air mattress, and like, I don't know, like 10 blankets or something. But like where the zipper lining was on that thing, it was like freezing. I think it got down to like 20 degrees, 10 degrees at night. But heck, I mean, it stayed about a good 50, 60 degrees inside the tent. Now, I won't bore you with any details which you might find scary, but I'm gay. Like, my boyfriend and I went on this trip, and like, it was a blast. Like, we had a lot of fun, but I don't know if you've ever heard the old like thing where if you ever get caught in a cold place, you know, you try to find some shelter away from the wind, you get naked and you huddle, like, because that's how you're gonna stay the warmest. And, you know, it's true. Like, if you're in a survival or a really cold situation like we were, I mean, we were naked and huddling. I mean, we had a 2-person sleeping bag, and it was meant for extreme cold weather conditions. I mean, obviously, as was the the frickin' insulated tent and all that, because we knew we'd be all-weather camping. But yeah, I mean, it works like a charm. If you're like freezing, just get naked and cuddle with someone. I mean, it wasn't like sexy, you know, it was like survival. I mean, I find my boyfriend sexy, but, you know, it wasn't like, when you're trying to not freeze, you just kind of do what you gotta do a little bit there. But I think it stayed like a good like 50 to like 50s inside the insulated tent. And I mean, we both like had long underwear on. Like, I had like moisture wicking, like head to toe, like basically bamboo cotton jumpsuit underneath all my clothes. So, but I mean, I'll be damned, you know, you think that might work out pretty nice, but I mean, you just get naked and you huddle and it's a lot warmer. So, but yeah, it was an awesome trip. Like, jeez. The first day we camped in the middle of the desert in Arizona somewhere, and then the second day, I think, let's see, it's hard to say. We went like to Carmel by the Sea, to Shelter Cove. We couldn't do Big Sur that day. It got like rained out, so they wouldn't let anyone camp in there, and they refunded our money. So we did actually end up spending one day in a hotel. I think that was in Monterey. Nice little town. But I really like little towns. I mean, I live in cities basically my whole life, but like I just love traveling the countryside and checking out all the weird little towns that are here and there. It's super fun. Gosh. Anywho, we're about to the end of this icy dungeon place. But yeah, I grew up in Chicago. Like, that wind and that freaking cold and the snowpocalypse that would happen every year, and freaking highways, people would get stuck on them when they would shut down. You know, like, freaking gigantic semis would get tipped over by the wind if they weren't loaded properly, like, with even weight distribution. My God, like, I personally, like, when I was like 16 and got my license, like, I don't know how many accidents I had, probably like 5 or 6 that were just like, you know, I was older, I was driving older cars. They didn't have like anti-lock brakes or four-wheel drive really on a lot of cars back then, unless you had a lot of money. So I mean, you'd fender bender with people, and people would be like, ah, fuck it, you know, it's a dent, whatever. One time somebody like rear-ended my car, and it looked like there wasn't even a scratch. I literally just did not care. This lady was like, I am so sorry. She's like freaking out. And I'm like, I think 16 or 17 at the time, and I'm like, I literally don't care, lady. Like, just, I don't want to be like hanging out here. Like, I got shit to do. So I didn't take her insurance information or anything. And like, lo and behold, like, the car trunk was basically fused shut, so I could not use my trunk ever again. There was nothing in it that I could recall. I don't even think there was so much as a spare tire in there. No, like, roadside kit or flares. Stuff I all have in my cars now, like a jack, you know, a tire iron, all that was not in my car. It's kind of funny, like, I remember, like, multiple times, like, running into situations with, like, popped tires, and one time, like, I was trying to turn around in the rain, and, like, my car slid down a hill, and, like, people, I think, used to just be a hell of a lot nicer to each other than they are now. Like, one time, a tow truck literally just saw me in a ditch. Guy just, like, 5 minutes after I'm stuck, I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? This is literally before people, like, had cell phones. I mean, you could have them if you were, like, rich, but, like, it wasn't like today where, like, kids that are, like, 12 and up all have cell phones. It was more like, you might have one for, like, an emergency. It might have, like, 3 minutes of talk time, and it was, like, 10 cents a text. So it was something you only kept for serious situations. Like, my first real cell phone, I think I bought when I was 18. It was a T-Mobile phone, like literally a flip phone. And I think it was like $70 a month just for like 300 minutes, no texts, no data. And like now my phone bill is about the same, but I have like unlimited data, unlimited text, unlimited talk. It's crazy how all that shit changes really fast. I'm not even that old, I'm only 34. But yeah, to finish my point, like, people used to just be so much freaking nicer to each other. Like, I had, like, more than one time, like, a commercial tow truck just stop and, like, help me out of a ditch. I've had, like, neighbors, like, dig me out of a freaking snowy trench, like, but, I don't know, like, people I don't think are that nice anymore. Like, I think everyone now just assumes, like, everyone's a murderer. And if someone's stuck, they're like, oh, they'll be fine. They must have a cell phone, sort of thing. And, like, I guess I'm kind of, like, the type of person who tries to pay things forward. Like, if something nice has happened to me in the past, I try to pay that forward. And I did that once with some dude who looked like his car was stuck. And I was like, hey, man, are you doing okay? Like, do you need a cell phone or anything? And the guy was, like, actively, like, pissed off at me that I'd, like, even bothered to stop and, like, you know, like, check on his well-being. So, I was like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, just trying to be nice. I just left, you know, I didn't want to like have a big thing with this dude who I didn't even really give a shit about. It was just like insane. Like, I don't know. People just are a lot shittier these days than they used to be. And again, I'm 34. Like, I'm not that old. Like, people mistake me for 20s all the time. I don't know. It's just kind of wild. But yeah, if you haven't camped across the country, definitely try it. It's super fun. You can avoid shitty weather if you want to, or if you don't have the gear, but I mean, literally, we were I think half the places we went to were just strictly off-grid. Like, we weren't even like in a camping spot. We just got out of our car and pitched a tent and like drove behind a tree so like cops wouldn't come bother us, basically. You know, it's kind of funny. There are just all these places up the Highway 1 in California where you can just like, I don't know if it's illegal, but there's lots of like little like these sideway paths where you can just hide your car and camp somewhere. And I mean, we definitely weren't the only people doing this. Like, pretty much everyone, like every other turn stop that we could see, like somebody was hanging out and building a campsite. Let's see here. I don't know. I'm not even paying attention to this fight at all. How rude. Do, 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 do. But yeah, I'm like blown away by the quality of this uprender. I mean, I do have a semi-expensive PC and a good card and stuff, but like I was playing this on like the normal, like what it would look like a PS1 game like on a tube TV, and it's just offensive to my vision at this point, having like owned a PS4 and played some like pretty high quality games on Steam and such. Whew. Like, it's just pixelated nightmare. Like, some of this still doesn't look great, but I mean, it looks so much nicer when you uprender it. But yeah, I'm kind of a quirky dude. I've lived in like 13 states. I've been to almost all of them. I haven't done some of the upper Northeast, and I haven't done Hawaii or Alaska. But it'll be on the list. Like, I want to do a cruise to Alaska in the summer sometime. I'd like to check out more of Seattle. Definitely would like to see more of the upper Northeast. Maybe check out some of the coastal areas in Maine during a summer some year. But yeah, I really like Canada. I miss that country a lot. When I lived in Michigan, I would drive across the border probably like every other week. It's about a 4-hour drive there, 4-hour drive back. And at the time, my boyfriend was, I think 19 or 20, and I was 24 or 23. But yeah, in Canada, you were legally able to drink, I think, at 19. So we would, you know, go over there, get drunk, have fun, stay the night, and come back. Anywho, I'm gonna get to the texty parts. Anyway, Cloud says, this crater was made a long time ago. Something fell out of the sky and crashed here. The planet was wounded. Barrett says, so all this energy is here to heal the planet? Cloud says, Sephiroth wants to use Meteor in order to steal the planet's energy. If he succeeds, the wound he creates will be far worse than the last one. Basically, Genova, the calamity in the sky, crashed into the Earth. It created a wound, and the planet cannot heal until Genova is completely destroyed, essentially. But one thing, like, on this playthrough, that made me think about this game a little bit differently, especially because this game has been retranslated to be more contextually, like, accurate. Was they were kind of saying, like, that Genova can manipulate the ancients, and Genova, like, caused people to have, like, fragments of themselves, like, dissipate, and just all these varying things that, like, Cloud kind of goes through. And it just made me think, like, maybe Sephiroth wasn't alive at all, because it also talked about how the ancients would see their dead loved ones and stuff. So for me, I was kind of like, I wonder if Sephiroth's not even the enemy in this game, like, it's just Genova. Because, I mean, you don't really ever fight him outright until the very end, but, I mean, that could still be Genova, like, giving you the form that most terrifies you, so I thought that was kind of an interesting way to look at it, and I had never thought about that before, so, and I've probably beaten this game, like, I wouldn't say 100 times, but damn near more than 20, so. Anyways, Tifa says, take me with you. You're gonna settle things with Sephiroth, right? I'm like, bitch, you don't have good limit breaks. No. Tifa says, Sephiroth has taken a lot from me as well. Don't say no. Bunny says, it cannot be helped. That's flappin' annoying. Dang it, I don't know when the last time I saved was. I'll just have to deal with this madness. I think I'm still working on one of Sid's limits. I know there's like a way to like get materia off one of your other characters, but I cannot recall exactly how to do it. Yeah, whatever. I don't really care. Oh, there's Barrett, so let's just... I won't let him switch over. It's an annoying place to do that. Oh well, what can you do? Guy just suicided. We got Neo Bahamut. Let's see. Okay, I can PHS there, so I'll just get Barrett's stuff unequipped. Anyways, let's just do this. But I don't know if you saw any of my other clips. The a lot of names, like persons, places, things, have been changed in this retranslation, and all it really does for me is just give me a headache, because I don't feel like it contextualizes anything. It just makes it not know what this stuff that you did know what it was, like, you don't know what it is, and then you have to like read descriptions, and it kind of slows you down. Anywho, we run up to this tornado labyrinth. Tifa joins our party for some reason, so I had to kick Barrett. And now, elsewhere, Rufus says, at long last, I found you, aboard the Highwind. Scarlet laughs. She says, it's incredible. Heidegger says, this truly is the promised land, the land that President Shinra sought. Rufus says, although I'll be the one to inherit it. Rufus says, sorry, father. Hojo's laughing, and Hojo says, this land belongs to no one. Hojo continues, it is the final destination of the reunion, where they will all gather. And I was kind of thinking, too, like, it goes along with the earlier thing I was saying, that, like, maybe Rufus, like, just, you know, had a Masamune made and had his father killed, because it seems like that's the kind of ambition that he had. It kind of could tie into my whole Sephiroth isn't even alive theory in this game. But maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting way to look at it. I'm not saying it's like canon or whatever. Anyways. Let's see. Hojo says, I wonder if we'll meet Sephiroth, and then giggles. Bunny says, so Rufus is here too. Yeah, because, you know, you can just see like an airship and like hear people talking on it from like directly above you. Totally, like when I'm bored, I just listen to like, you know, airplanes like fly over my head and I listen to people talking. Totally. Anyways, Tifa says we need to time our crossing with the calmer winds or we'll be swept off. And that guy says, Gak, Sephiroth. That guy says, ooh, ah. That'd be quite a sight in real life to see, like, a permanently, like, confined tornado. Just, like, sitting in this one place. And I thought there was only supposed to be, like, around 13 of these guys in black cloaks. That was quite a lot of them. And a lot of them die, like, in other places in the game, too. Maybe he made more, I don't know. Wah, 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 wah. I think in the like original game that spell was called Sleeple. Kind of like sleep and spell combined together. And like, I think they just renamed it Sleep in this game. Like, I mean, either way, it's still a sleep spell, right? Like, I don't get the need to change some of this stuff. Like, I honestly think Sleeple kind of sounds cooler, to be honest. Let me actually check that really quick, just out of interest. Yeah, like, mini is minimum now instead of mini. Like, yeah, sleep is just sleep. I think it was Sleeple, I might be wrong. But, like, I think Revive was, like, Life 2 in Life, and this is Rise and Arise. I think this was, like, maybe Antidote or something, instead of Poison Null. A lot of it stays the same, but, like, I'm like... Actually, I think these were, like, Thunder 1, Thunder 2, Thunder 3, instead of Thunder, Thundara, Thundaga. Like, kind of how they've changed all that stuff later in the series. Like, it's cool that you think that that's how you want to repurpose your translation, but ultimately, like, it seems like time you could have spent elsewhere, because in this retranslation, there are still just plenty of spelling errors and other issues that I'm just like, like, you could have spent your time doing other stuff, but, what do I know? I think it's dead, Sid. Calm down. There's other weird, like, little glitches. Like, some of the items stay the same name, but I think they inadvertently added other items that have the exact same purpose and gave them different names as part of the, like, retranslation. but I feel like it adds literally 0 to anything. It just... Now there's multiple items that do the same thing, which to me doesn't seem great. There's been a lot of glitches too. Like, there have been a couple times where my computer just was like, what the hell is this thing doing? Anyways, as we walk through these circular tornadoes, which apparently there's a tornado within a tornado within a tornado over here, we find Sephiroth, and he says, "This is the end for all of you." Why is he killing all these dudes? Like, I don't get it. Anyways, Cloud says, "Sephiroth, this is as far as you go." Sephiroth says, "Indeed, this body has outlived its usefulness." And he disappears. Tifa says he might still be nearby. And he just drops another piece of Genova on me or something. "Our purpose is to deliver the black materia to our master." Didn't he already have it? Like, he stole it from Cloud, so I don't really get that. Sid says, "Hey, what's going on?" "Those who carry Genova cells." Cloud says, "Our master?" And this says Sephiroth, of course. And then there's laughter. Anyways, Sephiroth, like, just flies through the sky and attacks us all. I'm like, if he's this all-powerful, like, dude, why does he just let us live time and time again? It's just dumb. Like, I get, like, having a rivalry with, like, a particular person, but so many games have done it so much better where it's like, you know, you, like, slowly, like, dislike each other more and more over time until, like, there's just no choice, sort of a thing. This is just silly to me. Do, 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 do. Well, while all these summons go down, I'm gonna get some water. Ugh. ever die? Nom 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 nom. Bye, bitch. Bunny says Genova cells. So that's what this is all about. Genova's reunion. Tifa says, not Sephiroth? You mean all this time it wasn't Sephiroth we were following? Cloud says, I'll explain later. Right now the only thing that matters is beating Sephiroth. Tifa says, but Sephiroth? Cloud says he's here. The real Sephiroth is just beyond here. Oh yeah, I forgot. I think he's in like some kind of stasis. Bunny says, unimaginably wicked, unimaginably cruel. An incredibly powerful will is emanating from deep within the planet's wound. Like maybe going through the live stream and like being in this wound. Like, maybe he kind of got stuck and this wound wasn't big enough for him to assimilate the level of power that he wanted to assimilate. It's hard to say. Anyways, Cloud says, the black materia is back in our hands. Now all we have to do is defeat Sephiroth, and that'll be the end of it. Tifa says, we'd better not take that any further. We should let someone else hold on to it. Okay. Let's give it to Barrett. Barrett says, damn, pressure's on. Cloud says, don't give it to anyone. I'm counting on you. Tifa says, let's go. Cloud says, we're going in first. Everyone else, wait for instructions. Did it change my party? Oh no. Okay. Ooh, free stuff. Really? How many tornadoes within a tornado can they really put in here? Anyways, Tifa says, what is this? What's happening? Cloud says, calm down, Tifa. Cloud says, Sephiroth is near. Anything could happen. And we're in Nibelheim for the third time. Tifa says, Nibelheim. Sid says, what the hell? Why Nibelheim? Bunny says, this is an illusion created by Sephiroth. He's trying to confuse us. It'll be alright. As long as we know it's an illusion, there's nothing to be afraid of. Let's keep moving. Tifa says, you're right. Tifa then looks behind her and says, look. Sephiroth says, alright, let's go. And we see Zax. Sid says, that's not Bunny. Tifa says, stop, Sephiroth. Bunny says, this is stupid. Bunny is Cloud. Anyways, Sephiroth is laughing just like he did the first time. Then everything disappears. Tifa says, Cloud, it's just an illusion. You can't allow yourself to get worked up over it. Cloud says, what's next? Tifa says, just stop it. Sid says, evil. Cloud says, this is what it looked like 5 years ago, but whoever comes out of the Shinra mansion, it won't be me. It's just gonna be another meaningless illusion. And it's Zax again. Cloud says, see, didn't I tell ya? Zangan says, hey, it's you. You're still sane, right? Then come over here and give me a hand. Tifa says, I don't want to watch this, Cloud. Look away. Zangan says, I'll check this house, you check that one. Cloud says, what's wrong, Tifa? I told you before, right? As long as we know it's an illusion, there's no need to worry. Sid says, hey, are you alright? Sid says, bullshit, this ain't real. Cloud says, Sephiroth, I know you're listening. I know what you're trying to say. Cloud says, Nibelheim 5 years ago, that I wasn't there. That's it, isn't it? Sephiroth says, I see you finally understand. Cloud says, these illusions you want me to believe, they're all just to confuse me, right? But even making me see those things won't change anything. I remember it all, the heat of the flames, the pain, and my heartache. Sephiroth says, is that so? You're a puppet. You have no heart, you can't feel pain. Thus, how can you have a memory, like yours, with any meaning? The world that I have shown you is the truth. Illusions are what you created. Sephiroth says, do you understand? Cloud says, I don't want to understand. But I want to ask you one thing. Why are you doing this? Sephiroth laughs and he says, I want to restore you to your true self, the one who handed me the black materia. Who could have imagined that a failed creation would prove so useful? Hojo will be less than pleased when he finds out, I'm sure. Cloud says, Hojo? What does that have to do with me? Sephiroth says, you were... Yes, it was 5 years ago. Nibelheim was enveloped in flames. Soon after, you were created by Hojo, a puppet created from the astonishing life force of Genova's cells. Hojo's work and the power of Mako. An incomplete Sephiroth copy, not even given a number. That is your reality. Cloud just shrugs. Sephiroth laughs some more. Sid says, Bunny. Tifa says, Cloud, don't listen to him. Cover your ears. Close your eyes. Cloud says, what's wrong, Tifa? This doesn't affect me. I wasn't even listening. Tifa says, created by Hojo. It's a lie. Don't we both share that memory? The one from our childhood, that beautiful starry night? Sephiroth laughs and says, Tifa, has the seed of doubt been planted, I wonder? Shall I open up your heart to everyone? Tifa looks away, and Sephiroth laughs and says, well, you don't look very well. Bunny says, Tifa, is Sephiroth right? Tifa just says, Cloud. Cloud says, what are you so afraid of? If it's about me, then don't worry. No matter how confused I am, I'll never believe a word that Sephiroth says. Cloud says, it's true that I sometimes lose myself, and that my memory is full of little gaps. But Tifa, you said that, didn't you? It's been a really long time. Those words will always support me. I'm still your childhood friend. I'm Cloud from Nibelheim. No matter how unsure I am of myself, I know that much is true. Cloud continues, so Tifa, don't be scared. I don't care what anyone else says to me. It's you that keeps me maybe grounded or sane. And Tifa says, you're wrong, Cloud. Cloud says, about what? I'm Cloud, your childhood friend, aren't I? Tifa says, that's not what I mean. I can't put it into words. Cloud, I just need some time, says Tifa. Just give me a little time. Sephiroth says, Cloud, don't bother, Tifa. I'll explain it to you. Sephiroth says, changing one's form, voice, and mannerisms based on the memories of another is an ability granted by Jenova. The Jenova inside of you has merged with Tifa's memories and made you all that you are. Sephiroth continues, the children from Tifa's past, for instance. Perhaps there was a boy named Cloud among them. Tifa says, Cloud, try not to think right now, please. Sephiroth says, yes, Cloud, think. Cloud? And he starts laughing and he says, how rude of me. You never even had a name. Cloud says, shut up, Sephiroth. Sephiroth says, you still don't understand. Well then, how about this? Sephiroth says, do you remember the picture we had taken before we headed out to Mount Nibelheim, rather? Sephiroth says, Tifa, you remember. Sephiroth says, but, Bunny, how would he know? Sephiroth says, now, what happened to that picture? Sephiroth says, is this it? Do you want to see it? It came out quite well. Tifa says, Cloud, no. Cloud says, I should be in the picture. If I'm not, so what? It's just an illusory world created by Sephiroth. And it looks like Zax, Tifa, and Sephi. Zack in the original, of course. Cloud says, just as I thought. The picture's a fake. The truth is what I remember. 5 years ago, I came back to Nibelheim. My orders were to inspect the reactor. I was 16. The town hadn't changed at all. What did I do? Oh yeah. I saw my mother. I met the villagers. I went into Tifa's room. I checked her drawers. The next day, I went to the Mount Nibelheim reactor. I was really excited about it, because that was my first mission as a first-class soldier. And then Cloud says, first-class soldier. Soldier. When did I join? How do you join soldier? He just starts melting down and he says, why can't I remember? Yeah. I never really worried about this before because Tifa says, Cloud. Cloud says, let's go, Tifa. I'm alright. Anyway, elsewhere, Scarlet says, amazing. Scarlet says, it's all materia. Rufus says, the outside is rich in Mako, while the core is a treasure trove of materia. This truly is the promised land. Hojo says, there is no such thing as the promised land. It's a legend, an old wives' tale. It's utterly ridiculous. Rufus says, everything's just as I envisioned. What more do you want? It's that kind of obstinance that makes you a second-rate scientist. Rufus says, what's that? Scarlet says, it's coming from within the wall. Something's in there. It's moving. Hojo says, the weapons. Then they really do exist. I didn't believe it. Rufus says, what does this mean? Hojo says, weapons, monsters created by the planet. They appear when the planet feels threatened, laying waste to all. That is what was stated in Professor Gast's report. Rufus says, I've never seen that report. Where is it? Hojo says, it's here. Right here. Rufus says, you keep a lot of things to yourself, don't ya? Barrett says, are Bunny and the others alright? Barrett says, what's this all about anyway? Can one materia really destroy the whole planet? Barrett appears to be in an illusion and he says, what the hell is this? He's wandering around and he wonders where all his friends are. He calls out to them, but there's no response. Tifa runs through the illusion and says, Barrett, thank goodness you're here. Barrett says, Tifa, something isn't right. It went pitch black and everyone disappeared. Tifa says, everyone's waiting for you. Cloud's in trouble. Please hurry. Help us. Over here. Barrett says, right. I don't have any clue what's going on, but I'm on my way. And then Tifa laughs and says, and don't forget, the black materia. And then changes back into Sephiroth. Just playing a game. Scarlet says, Mr. President, I have a bad feeling about this. Rufus says, perhaps we should return to the airship. We need to prepare a full-scale survey anyway. Scarlet says, hey, how'd you get here? Cloud says, I don't know. Cloud says, this is too big for you. Leave it to me and get out of here. Rufus says, leave it to you? Huh, I don't follow. Cloud says, this is where the reunion will take place, where everything will end and begin anew. Tifa says, Bunny. Barrett says, I'm here. What's up? And it seems like Cloud's trying to resist his possession or whatever. Cloud says, thanks, Barrett. Where's the black materia? Tifa's calling out to Bunny. I guess Barrett can't hear them. He says, no worries, I've still got it. Cloud says, I'll take it from here. Give me the black materia. Barrett says, is everything cool? Barrett says, alright, here. Sure feels good getting rid of it. Tifa says, no, someone stop him. Cloud says, thanks, I'll handle the rest. The black materia. The dark voice says, please, just a little longer. Anywho, Cloud says, thanks for everything, and I'm sorry. He just keeps looking at random people and saying, I'm sorry. Especially you, Tifa. I'm really sorry. You've been so good to me. I don't know what to say. Cloud says, I never really did live up to being Cloud. I hope you meet him again someday, Tifa. Hojo starts laughing and says, incredible. It means that my experiment was a complete success. And then he says, what number are you? Huh? Where's your tattoo? Cloud says, Professor Hojo, I don't have a number. You didn't give me one because I was a failure. Hojo says, what? You mean to tell me that the only one who made it here is a failure? Cloud says, Professor, a number, please. Please give me a number. Hojo says, silence, you miserable failure. Cloud can magically start flying, apparently. Rufus says, what is he? Hojo says, one of the copies I created immediately after Sephiroth died 5 years ago. Sephiroth copies are born of Genova cells, Mako, my knowledge, skills, and talents. They are the fusion of science and the occult. Hojo says, I derive no pleasure from the fact that he's a failure, but he's living proof that my Genova reunion hypothesis is sound. Hojo continues, you see, even if Genova is completely dismembered, the parts eventually converge on a single location, restoring her to life, hence Genova's reunion. Hojo says, I waited patiently for the reunion. 5 years passed before the copies began to move. I thought that they would gather in Midgar, where I was holding Genova, but I was mistaken. Genova itself began to move away from the Shinra building. Hojo says, my genius provided the answer. It was Sephiroth. His will had not been dispersed into the life stream. He was manipulating the copies. Yes, that's how it all started. Hojo says, but where were they going? That I couldn't figure out. Cloud says, I couldn't figure it out either. Hojo says, I was sure of one thing, Sephiroth would be at their destination. Cloud says, so, I wasn't pursuing Sephiroth. I was being summoned by him. All the anger and hatred I bore made it impossible for me to ever forget him. That was his gift to me. Sephiroth, Sephiroth, I'm here. I brought you the black materia. Please show yourself to me. Where are you? Sephiroth, we meet at last. Is anyone else disappointed that you can't see his wiener? I think I am. Hojo says, did you see that? It's Sephiroth. He's here after all. Hojo says, it's unbelievable. Genova's reunion and Sephiroth's incredible willpower. He avoided dispersion into the life stream and regrouped here. Ha ha ha. Tifa says, why are you so happy, Professor? You know what this means, don't you? Cloud has the black materia. Sephiroth will summon Meteor. Every single person is gonna die. Rufus says, whatever I say now is too little too late. We must evacuate. Rufus says, you're coming with me. There's much I need to know. Barrett says, Cloud, stop. Don't do it. Tifa says, Cloud. And Cloud puts the black materia into the... I don't know if that's like Mako or materia or what. Or maybe it's just all the concentrated spiritual energy he needed in order to summon, rather. Which also simultaneously releases all the weapons. I think there's Ultima, Underwater, Ruby, Diamond. I think there's one other one in Final Fantasy Crisis Core. I forget the name of it, though. It'd be kind of funny if the Steven Universe theme song started playing. We are the crystal gems. We'll always save the day. Yeah. Tifa keeps calling out to Cloud, and Cloud appears to be, I don't know, in some deep recess of his own mind, going crazy. Tifa says, I didn't always know what to do. I've always been like that. Anyways, back at Midgar, the train conductor says, what's the matter? Cloud's just moaning. The conductor says, poor thing. Tifa says, are you alright? Bunny just continues moaning incomprehensibly, and then says, Tifa. Tifa says Cloud, and Cloud says, that's right, I'm Cloud. Tifa says, it's really you. I never thought I'd find you here of all places. Cloud says, yeah, it's been a while. Tifa says, what's happened to you? You don't look so good. Cloud says, really? Nah, I'm fine. It's cool. I think this is basically before the beginning of the game. After the events where Zack basically gets put in a fatal situation and Cloud takes his clothes and sword. But yeah, I'll show that scene later. They don't really tell this story in order. Anyways, Tifa says, how long has it been? Cloud says, 5 years. Cloud says, what's wrong? Tifa says, it's been a really long time. Tifa says, actually, it had been 7 years. You joined Soldier just like you wanted, then quit after the Sephiroth incident and became a jack of all trades. Tifa says, you told me a lot about what had happened after you left Nibelheim, but something was wrong. There was something strange about what you were saying. Not knowing things you should, knowing things you shouldn't. I wanted to be sure. But when I tried to talk to you about them, it felt like I was pushing you away. I didn't want that. I wasn't sure what to do. I needed more time. That's why I told you to quit about the avalanche job. I wanted to be by your side, to watch over you. Anyways, meanwhile... Tifa wakes up in Junon, strapped to a bed. Barrett appears to be tied up. Barrett says, huh? Tifa says, it's so bright. Barrett says, hang in there. You've been out for some time. Tifa says, I'm hungry. Barrett says, aren't you gonna ask? Barrett says, you know, about Cloud? Tifa says, I'm afraid to. Barrett says, well, don't be. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe that didn't help. The others don't have a clue where he is either. Tifa says, I'm sure he's still alive. Barrett nods his head. Tifa says, how long was I out? Barrett says, must be about 7 days. Tifa says, what about Sephiroth? Barrett says, he hasn't come around yet. Remember those bright flashes at the Great Crater? Well, since then, the whole thing's been surrounded by a huge barrier. It's protecting Sephiroth while he's asleep down there, and we can't do a damn thing about it until he wakes up. Barrett says, on top of that, big-ass monsters known as weapons have been on a rampage. Tifa says, weapons? Barrett says, remember the huge monsters that were with Sephiroth at the bottom of the crater? Well, they're up here now. So they're supposed to be legendary beasts from the past. Tifa says, are they protecting him too? Barrett says, I don't know, but they're destroying things all over the place. Rufus is fighting them. I hate to say it, but he's got guts. Barrett says, it should be us out there, but we don't have any time. Tifa says, time? Hey, what about Meteor? And Barrett opens the blinds, and you can see the imminent gigantic meteor coming straight towards Earth. Tifa says, do we have to give up? Barrett says, I don't know. Rufus says, I thought Cloud would show up to save you. Professor Hojo wanted to take a good look at him too. Tifa says, what are you going to do to Cloud? Rufus says, Sephiroth's alter ego. Now that Meteor's been summoned, he's superfluous to requirements. Rufus says, which means you two are as well. Well, I forgot. There's one last thing. Heidegger says, Mr. President, preparations for the execution are complete. Barrett says, execution? Rufus says, yes, you're going to be executed for causing this situation. Barrett says, I take back what little praise I had for this jackass. Rufus says, enjoy your final moments together. Heidegger says, I'm going to tie your arms now. Scarlet says, are they all here? These are the ones who brought the madness into our world. Barrett says, who are these people? Scarlet says, we will be broadcasting your miserable deaths live on national television. Someone else says, Scarlet, a question if I may. Why does a public execution in this day and age seem appropriate? Scarlet says, with all the chaos resulting from Meteor, we need to rally public support. It's better that we punish someone, anyone. Tifa says, you make me sick. Scarlet starts laughing. She says, they might not admit it, but everyone loves this stuff. Scarlet says, alright, we'll start with the girl. Barrett says, if you're gonna do it, then do me first. Scarlet says, camera, over here. Make sure you get this. The audience just eats up tearful goodbyes. And Tifa gets taken into a gas chamber. Tifa says, what are you doing? Scarlet says, this is my special gas chamber. Take your time and enjoy a slow, painful death. Scarlet says, stuck up bitch, and then slaps Tifa. Her and her escort leave the gas chamber, but apparently they drop a key on the floor. Scarlet says, let the show begin, and starts laughing. Anyhow, apparently this facility is being attacked, and an alert goes off. Weapon attack imminent. All units report to your positions. Oh no, it's a weapon, says someone. Run. And all the spectators start fleeing. Scarlet says, hey, wait, damn. Just when things were getting interesting. One of the other spectators says, Scarlet, what are you feeling regarding this latest development? Scarlet says, I'm impressed you didn't run. My feelings? Well... And then she passes out. Barrett says, sleeping gas? And the person takes off their disguise, and it appears it's Kate Sith. One of the members of Soldier calls him a bastard and attacks him. Oh boy. Kate Sith says, I'm here to rescue you. Barrett says, what? Aren't you with Shinra? Kate Sith says, I'm against capital punishment. Besides, I despise that woman Scarlet. Come on, we gotta save Tifa. Kate Sith says, I'll keep a lookout. Meh, whatever. Scarlet says, fools, I already pushed the button. Barrett starts banging on the door. And he says it won't open. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Heidegger is running up to the president of Shinra to inform him something. Heidegger says, it's a weapon. Rufus says, there have been so many attacks lately. Can we handle it? Heidegger says, I believe so. Permission to engage the enemy? Rufus says, no need to ask. Heidegger says, we'll blast it with a huge cannon. Heidegger says, open all gun ports, set the main cannon to target the weapon. A sailor comes and says, "Preparations complete." Heidegger says, "Fire the cannon." Rufus says, "Did we get it?" Heidegger says, "Seems so." Alarms continue going off and say, "Weapons coming back, speed 50 knots. It's headed right for us." Heidegger says, "It can't be. That was a direct hit." Rufus says, "What about the cannon?" Heidegger says, "It takes more time to reload." Rufus says, "Then use regular firepower in the meantime." Heidegger says, "Yes, sir. Target the weapon. Don't let it land." Speed 70 knots. Weapons closing in. Collision imminent. Anyways, inside the gas chamber, the gas turns on. Tifa says, "Barrett, help." Barrett says, "Hold your breath as long as you can." Tifa says, "Hurry up, I can't hold on forever." Barrett says, "Shit." Looks like Scarlet is saying the same thing as before. Barrett says to Kate Sith, "The gas chamber must be locked from somewhere else." Kate Sith says, "There's nothing we can do. Time to change our plan up. Let's get out of here first, though." Barrett says, "Tifa, I'll save you, I promise." But I think Tifa saves herself, actually, but whatever. Yeah, I don't really want to deal with that right now. Scarlet locked us out once we left the room, and Barrett says, "Damn." Scarlet says, "You stupid fools, now you can never save her." Barrett says, "Damn it." Kate Sith says, "Well, another change of plan. We're gonna run to the airport." Barrett says, "The airport? Are we just gonna leave Tifa behind?" Kate Sith says, "It's okay. We have to take this chance." I think it's over there. Kate Sith says, "It's the other way." Oh boy. 4 steps and I get attacked. Other way apparently. Anywho, we run into Yuffie, and Yuffie says, "I'm sorry to interrupt at such a busy time, but can I get a quick interview?" Barrett says, "Shut your trap, I'm in a hurry." "Not so loud, it's me, Yuffie." Barrett says, "What the hell are you doing here?" Yuffie says, "I'll explain later. We gotta hurry to the airport." Barrett says, "Are you sure this is the right way? It's a dead end." Kate Sith says, "Did I make a wrong turn?" Barrett says, "You idiot. What the hell are we gonna do now? They'll be stomping us at any minute." Barrett says, "Watch my back to the very end, partner." And we get instructions that we need to move our arms, feet, and head to escape the chair. Here it looks like we got out of this chamber and we pushed the button to turn the gas off. Tifa tries to get out of the door, but it appears to be locked from the other side. She says, "Open, damn it." Anyways, the weapon's causing chaos and apparently it blows a hole in there. And the Junon cannon shoots it right in its face. It appears to be decapitated and sinks into the ocean. Maybe that's Sapphire weapon or something. I don't know. Scarlet says, "What was that? Open up." Tifa says, "First you locked me in and now you want me to come out? Make up your mind." She climbs up the wall through the gap in the ceiling. And that puts her on top of the Junon cannon. People are coming after us, but they're like falling off the side. The cannon is apparently named Sister Ray. We run all the way to the edge of the barrel, and Scarlet says, "Our little game of hide and seek ends here." Scarlet says, "The gas chamber might have failed, but watching you slam into the water below will still provide some small amusement." Scarlet then slaps Tifa. And then says, "You're stuck up to the end." Tifa says, "Stop slapping me, you old hag." And And now we have a slapping contest. It's probably not fair to Scarlet since Tifa's usually wearing brass knuckles, so... Scarlet says, I can't stand it. Her eye looks bloodshot. She says, don't just stand there, take her away. Scarlet says, let's end this. Come quietly or I'll drop you. Someone in the sky says, run. Run to the end of the cannon, and Tifa starts running. Looks like the other team members abducted the High Wind. Barrett throws down a rope ladder. Or just a rope, whatever. And Tifa runs towards it. Tifa catches the rope, and the airship flies away. Live to die another day, I guess. Anyway, on the High Wind, Barrett says, are you okay? Tifa says, my cheeks hurt a little. Never mind that. What's all this about? Kate Sith says, the details can wait a little bit till the time is right. Anyway, the airship High Wind is now yours. Yuffie looks like she's about to throw up. She says, I'm glad you're okay. Anywho, I think this is... never mind. Let's just go to the bridge. Barrett says, why didn't you tell me we had the airship? Barrett says, I thought Tifa was gone for sure. Kate Sith says, sorry, but I had to do something to fool the enemy. Kate Sith says, come on, everyone's waiting. Tifa says, everyone? Everyone's here? Sid says, welcome aboard my airship, the High Wind. Sid says, what's wrong? You should be more excited than that. Nanaki says, Sid. Sid says, oh yeah. Tifa says, we're short on crew. Sid says, that's just how it goes sometimes. Kate Sith says, Tifa... I don't even know what that says. Ask me if there's anything you want to know. Nanaki says, we need Cloud for this. We can't save the planet without him. Tifa says, Meteor is coming and the weapons are on a rampage. Right now, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Tifa says, I just don't know. Barrett says, get a grip, Tifa. We should think this through together. Remember, there ain't no getting off of this train we're on. Tifa says, if Cloud was here, I feel like everything could work out. He would, stand in that cheeky way he always did and tell me, it's alright, Tifa. Barrett says, when'd you become so weak? Tifa says, sorry, Barrett. I'm a little surprised myself, and disappointed. Nanaki says, Tifa, the reason we all thought it was Bunny from your childhood is because... Tifa says, I know. That's why I want to make sure. I have to see him again. Vincent says, nice to see you again, Tifa. Sid says, well, I sure didn't hate the guy. Gotta admit, though, I thought he was a bit of a wacko. Just when you thought he was cool, he'd go and do something real boneheaded. I used to think he was pretty smart, but he missed the simplest of things. Sid says, something about the way he moved and spoke just didn't sit right with me. Thinking about it now, yeah, it all makes sense. Well, as long as he's still alive, you'll see him again someday, so cheer up, sis. Tifa says, I'll see him again someday? Sid says, if we can find out where his spiky ass is, the High Wind will have us there in a jiffy. Nanaki says, maybe. When the ground collapsed deep inside the Great Crater, Cloud was pulled even further below. Tifa says, do you mean the life stream? Nanaki says, the life stream passes just under the seabed and occasionally gushes out to the surface. I've heard stories about a place where this happens. Nanaki says, maybe, just maybe, that's where Cloud is. Barrett says, you can't go on thinking it's hopeless without Cloud. We did fine without him in the beginning. Right? And what happened to the tough girl I used to know? Where'd she go, huh? The pilot says, Captain Sid! Sid says, sorry sis, I gotta teach this moron how to land. Come on, it'll be over soon. Oh, and sis, whatever the plan, you've gotta be ready, right? Go to the operations room and start making preparations. The operations person says, hello, Tifa. And we can select a party. Anywho, I think I'm gonna save it here and stop the stream. But thanks for watching.